Hey.
All right, folks, today we are here with Andrew. I'm going to start off by asking him to introduce himself, telling us who he is and what film he represents at Art is Alive Film Festival.
Hello, I'm Andrew Imai. I'm 19 years old. I'm originally from Royal Oak, Michigan, and I'm here at the Art is Live Film Festival for my short film, The Last Vigil. I'm a second year physics major at the University of Notre Dame and had a passion for film for a while now and excited to be and honored to be at this festival.
Thank you so much. Now, I know both of us stem from the Midwest, so I have a question to ask you. Even though Notre Dame isn't exactly New York City per se, you're not in your hometown. So, and you did come to New York for the festival. Did you notice any drastic differences between New York and here as far as artistically speaking?
Yeah, definitely. I think a big part of New York is kind of everything seems to be maybe more outside the box than some of the things around the Midwest. I think there's a lot of great art from the Midwest, and it's kind of more things what you would expect. And maybe New York, there's a lot more surprises, and I think both of them are very interesting for sure. But that's something I noticed on my first trip.
Oh, you betcha. And the other thing I wanted to mention is you ended up finding me. I can't remember how, so I'm going to ask you to tell everyone how you found me. And then second of all, for young filmmakers, can you point out to them what you think should be some of the drawing factors that lead them to submit to festivals?
Yeah, for sure. So I have uploaded my film onto filmfreeway.com, and I found that to be a very useful tool for identifying festivals that would be good to go to. And so there's a lot of different categories you can kind of rank things by or kind of sort through. So I had looked for festivals that have a reasonable rate to submit to. They have a student section that you can, or a college or university section that you can submit to. And that was one of the ones that came up. And from there, I was just kind of looking at the websites and around social media to kind of see what kind of reviews people have of it and how it is. And it was definitely one that I found would be useful and very happy that I was accepted. And definitely I'll be leaving a great review as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Do you think that because there's just thousands of them nowadays, would it behoove people to do certain homework? Because I'm hearing that from filmmakers, like they check out not just the reviews, but talk to other people or do other things. Were you inclined to do any of that?
Yeah, I feel like I was a little bit behind a year ago than to where I am now submitting. Definitely talking to people has been useful for a lot of festivals. My other filmmaking friends who are in school elsewhere or just people that I've met from certain festivals like this would be super helpful for me to talk to them as well and see. And definitely, yeah, do your homework because I think there's a lot of festivals that you just shouldn't submit to. It's not the right category, or they're not looking for the right things, or things that are, specific to your film, especially. So I think definitely that's one of the biggest things you should do instead of just sending it out into the world again at every festival. It's not fruitful. So definitely do your homework.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I know that you're not walking around being a writer director all the time, and clearly, two of your past jobs included in landscaping, but also being a soccer ref. So tell everyone what drew you to becoming a ref like that as far as soccer goes. Like, what's the appeal for that particular sport, and are you actively involved in either of those anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I played soccer for about 13 years now since I was young, and that was always my main sport and something that I'd considered for college as well. I had offers to go play soccer at several universities, but Notre Dame kind of won me over in the end, so I had to choose the academic route. But certainly, reffing soccer has been something that is a great side job to have just because there's a lot of opportunity to kind of morph it around whatever your schedule is. You just tell them when you can do games, and it's a great way to teach the younger kids how to play the game right. If you have the younger games, which are a little bit harder, you never know which way they're going because they're kind of clumping together. But teaching those young kids how to play the correct way, and then when you get the more competitive games, then actually being able to influence the outcomes and trying to be as fair as possible. And yeah, I'm still doing some work as well at Notre Dame the surrounding areas. I'm in the MLS Next refereeing program. So there's these are all like the academies for the different MLS Major League Soccer teams are in the country. So a lot of talent there, which is very great to watch and kind of the future of the sport. So it's been a great time.
I bet that sounds exciting. Um, because I know that you're a first-time filmmaker, I want to pick your brain a little bit. I know that it's often a scary and sensational at the same time. Uh, I literally just forgot my train of thought there. Shit, we were doing so good. Okay, editor, real quickly, let's just rephrase this question. Because you're a first-time filmmaker, I know that it can be very scary, but also a very sensational experience on a lot of different levels. So, speaking towards the teaching element for 1 second, tell everybody when you were doing this film, one of the biggest fears or challenges that you came across, and how did you conquer something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think I had expectations going in were kind of just like you could just do it. You could stick a camera in someone's face and it would be perfect. But once you actually start getting into it, I realized it's a lot more complex than you think, and having to do all the pre-production stuff, getting your locations right, the time of day, the shot lists, the equipment, the right actors, the right people around to help you with audio, especially is tough when you're starting out, I feel like.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. And I think the biggest thing for me, at least, was just kind of keeping that creative vision throughout the whole process of, you have something in mind when you're going into it, but not necessarily, you kind of can forget it sometimes along the way, but just kind of keeping that in mind, and knowing where your motivation lies for everything, for sure.
Do you feel like this is still somewhat of an intimidating experience for you, even like moving on, doing another project? Are you still nervous about the end result?
I think more so excited than nervous per se. I think just like every time I finished a project, or just a couple like just practice ones with my smartphone when I was in high school and things like that, it was just like every time you learn so much and you're excited to go fix it in the next one because you see it on the screen and you think, oh man, I could have done that better, or maybe I'm using something better than I was before. And I feel like every time I've started something new, it's always an excitement to go and improve on what I've done before. So I think, yeah, definitely nervous, and trying to get everything right, especially on the day of. You want everything to go smoothly. You want everything to look good. But I feel like I'm more excited than nervous about doing that kind of stuff now.
Very good to hear. Actually, I like the whole excitement thing versus nervous thing. That kind of drives people, I think, in a very great way. In the past, I know that you've won awards for writing scripts. So, if you would please share with everyone, if I were to pick your brain and ask you the top two elements that you believe encompass an award-winning script, what are those?
Two elements. I think generally my scripts, the ones that have won awards, are short scripts, usually no more than maybe 15 pages or so. I had one longer one, but
Okay.
I think the biggest thing with the short scripts, especially, is finding a key like idea or something interesting that you'll take away with you after reading the script. I think that maybe is probably the most important thing, and the second one being uh, like raising the stakes in the script, kind of. I know they talk about for shorts getting in early and leaving, or getting in late and leaving early. So I think one of the biggest things with that is just like having something people will remember after reading the script. Like you'll think about it later, like, oh man, that was an interesting idea, or I didn't expect that twist. And then the second thing being like um, having something at stake during the short that you're anticipating, you're waiting for something to happen, not just kind of like a lull where you can have in some like features when you're just starting out, or maybe at the end when it's just like. But I think like having that the high stakes and having an interesting concept or idea, those have been kind of my two keys, I feel like, when I've been writing.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Now, before we start talking about the film, I know that I ask this question often. I do it on purpose because I never really get a concrete answer. Like there's never, this is the right way, this is the right way. Some filmmakers, of course, subscribe to the idea that a film set is the education, whereas some people decide they're going to go to film school. You obviously are not in Notre Dame for film school. So where do you stand on that, knowing what you have so far? Would you recommend to other people, yes, I'd still go to film school and why? Or maybe no?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping to take a couple classes at Notre Dame while I'm there, but I think really the best teacher is experience in this case. I think I agree with people on that, and I think that the biggest thing, I think the best way to go would be to go get a college degree, but not necessarily in film, and keep trying to do that, because I think there's a lot of things in college that, one, you can meet other people there who are maybe
Yeah.
in the film department there, or that want to do film. That's a lot easier there than just elsewhere, maybe. And the second thing is like using whatever degree that is to kind of help you. I feel like my physics degree has kind of helped me in just like thinking about like large scale things or the universe. I'm writing a script now that has like some time travel in it, so kind of incorporating the scientific aspects into the writing, and it always kind of creates um, that outlet for me to do that. Christopher Nolan, probably one of my favorite directors, he did his degree in English, and I remember
Mhm.
him talking about how important that was for him to kind of like think about like literary aspects and developing characters and things like that, which kind of helped him become a better filmmaker, even though he just wanted to go right into it. So I think that certainly you don't need to go to film school, and that's not the way that I'm going to do it. But I
Yes.
think that there is important parts of college that have been really helpful for me and other filmmakers as far as getting better at your craft.
Makes perfect sense, actually. And we should mention to everyone that you're like taking the coolest thing in the world, which is astrophysics, because I hear all the cool kids are taking that right now. Fun story, actually. I met Andrew through the festival, and then what do you know? He's talking to my son, who happens to be mastering in astrophysics as well. So, because I'm a dense mom and I'm still trying to figure it out, what exactly is my kid going for? What does this mean?
Yeah, so astrophysics is kind of the big questions. It's about the universe, about space and stars, a lot of different fields in it. But basically, yeah, that's basically the large scale aspects of the universe. It's kind of a subfield of physics, but it usually concerned with what's beyond Earth.
Gotcha. Doesn't that sound completely complex, everyone? Because it totally does. I'm an English major. We don't get any of that stuff. I'm just like, I wish I could help you with homework, but we're not math smart. Most of us English people are not math anything. So I'm like, I love you. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Not really. I'm trying though. All right. So let's talk about the film. Number one, this is huge. You did this on no budget. So everybody, I'm sure, is asking themselves, well, how did Andrew do this on no budget?
Yeah, so the equipment I've kind of had for a little bit. I have a small Canon EOS R100, which is probably better as a photography camera, but you can use it for video, especially if you can, the right settings and everything. So I was messing around with that for a long time before. And just one shotgun mic that I was using that I think one of the aspects of the film that really helped make it no budget too, especially with the audio, was just most of the audio is either from sound overlaid or music overlaid or just narration that we were able to do in one of the audio booths that actually Notre Dame's library gives students access to.
Okay.
And all of my and I was able to get my friends to be actors in it, and my roommate was the audio guy, and the producer is one of my good friends I met last year. So really, it was just a lot of people coming together and just doing it for fun, which makes it a great time, and also was able to use the locations on campus for free and everything. So I think that's kind of the way that I was able to do it on no budget.
That's like the best reason to do film, folks, because it's fun. Not for
Yeah.
all of us, but it is a good time. That's great. I do know in a conversation we had previous to this that you mentioned, of course, using a drone on set. And so I also get conflicted views. Like some people I talk to are like, no, it's not a necessity. Some people swear by it and they're like, drones just up the game when it comes to this. Tell us why the election to use drones.
Yeah, so I had always thought whenever I saw drone shots in films and things like that, that it looked very professional, and I felt like it gave you a great like bird's eye view, without being just like somewhere like a steady cam. I felt like I liked like the movement in it,
Sure.
and I thought that it gave, especially in the context of this film, kind of a great, we had like a pull out, a nice pull out to kind of like emphasize different themes in the film. So I wasn't hell bent on using it just for the sake of using it. I thought it did actually work with what we were trying to do. And one of the friends that I made just a couple weeks before we had started shooting had mentioned he had a drone, so it worked perfectly. We were able to get it in. Um, Unfortunately, we're not allowed to fly drones on Notre Dame's campus since there's an airport like a couple miles away. So we did get the police called on us, but not until after we had already gotten the shot done. So it was all worth it.
Making it its finest. This sounds like New York for a second on the subway. It's like the exact same thing. Um, I have to ask you about how you did the beautiful white tree because I absolutely love that. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's right on campus actually, kind of tucked away in a nice little spot, and it had actually not been in our shot list to get that shot, and I had just walked by it when we were moving from location to location, and
Sure.
I thought like, wow, like it's beautiful. I have to get it in there. So we just kind of set up our stuff really quick and got the shot in. You know, while people were walking by, we kind of waited and yeah, I thought it worked perfectly with all like the colors and the schemes with our theme of the film, and I really loved it too.
It's absolutely breathtaking. I was like, I see different images and things and CGI and all that good stuff, but it was very organic and very well made and very pretty. I just like that so much. Great job on that one. So tell me a bit about the narration. One might ask themselves, I think it's a necessary component and it adds to the story, and it almost is like a whisper of sorts, if you will. But you tell me why you felt it was necessary for this project to contain narration of that type.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely had thought about just kind of going with just a visual feel and kind of trying to let the viewer kind of shape the narrative themselves or try and get hints as to what was going on. But I had kind of experimented with that too in editing as well. We had recorded the narration, and I thought like, well, we'll see if it works with and without. And I just felt like, yeah, I had wanted it to be just a little bit more concrete than it was without, and I wanted to kind of give this story something to kind of grasp onto, especially with like the responsibility kind of aspect of the film and communicating the message. I felt like instead of allowing people to kind of interpret what in whatever way would be they would want to, which is still a valid way as well. But I thought I kind of wanted to send a sort of message, and I thought the narration was a good way of going about it.
Absolutely, you bet. It suits very well, actually. Very nice. Um, the dedication. We want to talk about Father Mike and Chris. Why is the film dedicated to them?
Yeah, so Father Mike is the rector of the of my dorm that I'm in, and Father Chris is the rector of another dorm on campus that a couple other of the crew members and cast were in. So both of them were very gracious in letting us use their different parts of the dorm in creating the film, and also kind of working with us to get the lights off in certain parts and keep people away for just like this short time we were filming. And it could have just as easily been like, no, like I can't help you. You can do whatever. But both of them were very generous and very nice in letting us do that. So I felt that I needed to give them some special thanks for that.
Absolutely. That was very sweet. I thought to myself, yeah, that just begs to ask the question, who are they? Because I'm like, they must be special or have done something spectacular to get the dedication. Um, as to the film itself, to me, it really is a story of both survival and being open to be receiving messages, even if necessarily you don't agree with them, but opening up your mind, opening up your heart and your soul. But I'm not the creator of the visit. So you tell me, what is your film really about?
Yeah, I mean that's a very good synopsis I would say about the kind of the idea that I was going for and we were going
Sure.
for as a team. Yeah, just about taking kind of each of us having a sort of job to do in our time while we're here on Earth and taking that responsibility and not sort of just phoning it in as would be probably just as easy or maybe make for a easier lifestyle. But I feel like yeah, that's one of the things that I've kind of come to think about a lot, especially coming into college and being young and
Yeah.
having life ahead is just kind of like taking the opportunities that are given to me, even if it's not easy, but just kind of doing what you were meant to be here for. And I think that was kind of the important driving theme behind the film.
You betcha. If someone were to say that this runs strictly as more of a spiritual film, would you agree with that or concur with that thought?
I think it could be seen as such. It wasn't particularly my intent when I had started out with it. I think there are enough um, aspects for everyone so that it could be seen through a secular lens and still have meaning to each person individually.
Absolutely, you betcha. Listen to how well spoken he is. This is awesome. Now I know, of course, obviously we don't have necessarily a drop dead date as far as when the film is going to be screening next. So I'm curious to ask you, so what is next for Andrew? What else do you have going on?
Yeah, yeah. So a couple other festivals I'm hoping to attend with this film. I've been to one since, and excited and getting good feedback as well from filmmakers around and good advice as well, which is always important. And I'm actually in production right now for my next film, written by one of my friends, co-written by me and Jackson Lang is his name.
Okay.
It's entitled Acronymity. So we're excited about that as well, and hoping to have it finished and edited by early next year. So, and maybe at the Art is Alive Film Festival in 2025. Who
It's so
knows?
exciting. It is actually. And I don't want to forget to ask this question. Did you receive any wins or nominations from the Art is Alive Film Festival?
Yes, one nomination,
And that was for,
Best Student Film.
thank you very much for that. Sad to say we didn't win, and I was
Yeah,
very sad about that. That's the worst part of having a festival is everyone should win. Everyone.
right.
I'm of the belief everyone's a winner already. It stinks to have to only give out one prize per category. It really does. It's difficult. As far as where folks can find you on social media or otherwise, where do they go?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram
Mhm.
at Andrew Emai 9062, or on LinkedIn at Andrew Emai, and also on YouTube at Andrew Emai, Andrew underscore Emai.
Or you just go to Notre Dame. Like if you're just driving around and then all of a
You can
sudden you
just
can
come
just
on up.
stop. Just
Yeah,
be like,
absolutely.
let's go hang with Andrew, maybe film a little bit, maybe write a little bit, do a little astrophysics,
Right.
whatever, that sort of
Yeah,
good
I'll be
stuff.
around.
Yes. So I don't want to forget to mention this. The name of the movie is The Visit. And again, his name is Andrew Imai. Thank you so much for submitting. Thank you for taking this ride with me. Actually, he came all the way from over there to New York City to participate in this. I can't thank you enough for just being part of this. It meant a great deal to me.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's been a great honor and a great fun to be at the festival as well.
Oh, thank you. All right, let me stop that.